If you want to start watching women's tennis and you have no idea where to start, this is your ultimate guide to start with. Tennis is probably one of the most popular women's sports in the world. The most popular, if you ask me. I'm not gonna lie, I'm super excited about this video because I'm a huge tennis fan. I work in tennis, I play tennis, I've met almost every tennis superstar, and I just can't wait for you to become a tennis fan too. So let's start from the beginning so you get to know absolutely everything that it is to know about tennis. It's been professional since the 70s, and the movement was led by one of the most iconic, legendary female athletes in history, Billie Jean King. Important name to remember. So if you're ready to become a tennis fan, let's begin. We need to understand the structure, the organism that rules the women's tennis tour. That's how we call it, tour, because they travel around the world to play like rock stars. This organism is called WTA, Women's Tennis Association, basically the private company that regulates players and tournaments around the world. This was founded by Billie Jean King. Told you she was important. You will see this abbreviation everywhere in the tennis world. The tour is divided by tournaments, from the most important ones to the smaller ones. First, you have what we call in tennis the Grand Slams. You probably have heard of them. In order of play throughout the year, we'll go Australia Open in Melbourne, Roland Garros in Paris, Wimbledon in London, and US Open in New York City. These are the biggest tournaments in tennis, arguably bigger than Olympics or a World Cup for tennis players. These tournaments last 2 weeks with 128 single players, because there's also the doubles category, but for this video's purposes, we will focus only in singles. And to win the title in singles, a player must win 7 matches. Yeah, we call them matches and not games. We got first round from 128 players to 64, second round from 64 to 32, third round from 32 to 16, then round of 16, quarterfinals, semis, and then the final. So if you hear somebody saying she won a slam without dropping a set across 7 matches, that's what they mean. If you're following one player all the way to a slam title, you're committing to 7 matches across 2 weeks. It sounds a lot, but it's super fun. Okay, so technical stuff. The winner of a Grand Slam wins 2,000 points to their rankings. The ranking points will be your guide to determine the size and type of tournaments, because after Grand Slam, we have WTA 1000. That's a type of tournament, and the winner wins 1,000 points. Then we got WTA 500. The winner wins 500 points. And then the WTA 250. The winner wins 250 points. You get the point now. If you only watch the slams, you're missing half the story, as some of the smaller tournaments are either mandatory to play at a Grand Slam, they're also used as warm-up tournaments, or they need the ranking points. So that's the base of the tour, 50 to 55 tournaments per year, and the WTA season typically runs early January to November. That's about 44 to 46 weeks of activity. Do players play every single tournament? No, players do not play every week. Especially the top players usually compete in 15 to 20 tournaments per year. With mandatory events, like we said, the WTA 1000s, those ones are mandatory. So now that you understand how the tour works, let's jump into the fun part, choosing a player. Because tennis is just like any other sport. If you don't have a favorite player, it will be very difficult to invest any of your time, and it's impossible to follow everyone. So my advice would be to research if there is a player from your country that you find interesting, because I always find it more entertaining to follow an athlete from your country for the element of patriotism, I guess. But if not, I left a list of the top 10 most exciting players that I think in the description for you to check them out and take your time. I'll say pick 1 or 2 and go from there. My favorite at the moment is Aryna Sabalenka, but I enjoy watching Coco Gauff and King Wencheng. Because tennis is an individual sport, rivalries are everything. So you will usually get derbies, as you will call them in football, of 2 players that very often play against each other either at semis or at finals. Like at the moment is Iga Swiatek and Aryna Sabalenka, or at the time Serena Williams and Maria Sharapova. While watching tennis, the head-to-head status or the head-to-head data puts a lot of pressure on players. So it's always interesting to see how they deal with that during a match. At this point, you're probably wondering, okay, Danny, love the info, but where do we actually watch and when? Well, like any other sport, it depends where you are. But what's funny about tennis is that it also depends where the tour is happening at the moment. So let's say you live in America and they're playing in London. Well, you're probably going to watch it early in the morning. Don't worry, most TV networks broadcast tennis, especially Grand Slams, so you shouldn't struggle to watch a tennis match. The WTA is also really good with having the highlights of every match in their YouTube channel and the best in their social media channels. So I would recommend to follow them so you don't miss out what's the latest in the women's tennis. Personally, tennis is my favorite sport, and it makes a huge difference while watching it if you go and try it yourself, like actually go on court and play it yourself. So now tell me, what are the other tennisy questions that you have, and what other sports should we follow? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear all about it. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, I'm sure that you would like to hear more stories about women's sports, so make sure that you subscribe to the channel and be part of the Sporty Gang. I'm Dani Bellamy, your Sporty Friend, and I'll see you next time. Bye!